Okay, so hi everybody. Thank you for coming again today. So we have been looking at the changes in Japanese clothing from Yayoi to Kofun to Asuka and Nara period. So today we finally arrived at the Heian period. When we think of this period, we often imagine aristocrats wearing beautiful layered kimono in bright colors. However, the Heian period shows not only beauty, there's also one very important visual change. As I have been saying, in the Nara period, the government issued a law called the Yoro Clothing Code. This rule continues even today in kimono. In Japan, living people wear right over left, while left over right is used only for the dead. Now let's look at the social structure of Heian period. The population of Japan was about 5 to 7 million people, but aristocrats in Kyoto was far less than 1% of the population. So a very small elite governed the country. Let's look at clothing by social classes. First, aristocrats. Men wore formal robes such as tokutai, noshi, and kariginu. Women wore the famous junishitoe or 12-layered robe. These clothes were made of silk. Aristocrats also enjoyed elegant color combinations called kasane no irome, which express the seasons of nature. Next, government officials and provincial officers. Their clothing was simpler. They often wore kariginu, which was originally hunting wear but later became everyday clothing. Next, farmers. More than 90% of the population were farmers. They wore simple clothing made from hemp or plant fibers. Their clothes were practical and easy to work in. Finally, Buddhist monks and craftsmen. Monks wore simple robes such as kesa, following Buddhist discipline. Craftsmen wore practical clothes similar to farmers. By the way, you may wonder why Heian aristocrats wore so many layers. There were 3 reasons. More layers meant higher rank. Layered colors showed the elegance and seasonal taste. Second, status. And more layers meant higher rank. And third, architecture. Heian palaces had no glass windows and were often cold, so layers helped keep them warm. So in the Heian period, clothing clearly showed social status, season, and beauty. This period is also important because Japan gradually stopped copying China and then began to create its own culture. The elegant kimono style of Heian court is one of the best examples of this unique Japanese culture. And please look at this hairstyle. For women, when they get married, they would cut their hair over here. Even today, this is one of the hairstyles. So it's very interesting. Thank you for listening. That's all for today. Thank you.